Welcome to another rare bird update. By the way, if you are Dutch, then you can check out this video in Dutch on my other channel, the link is in the description. Regular viewers may have noticed that we've skipped a week, but don't worry, this time we're covering 2 weeks in one video. I've also slightly adjusted the format. First, we'll cover all newly discovered mega rarities, then give an update on rarities that have been around for a while, and finally we'll end with news about other rare species. We start this week with the falcated duck, a stunning duck species from East Asia. Occasionally, escaped individuals show up, but sometimes we spot birds with no signs of captivity. Earlier this year, 2 such clean individuals were reported. The well-known bird that has returned to the Rotterdam area for a 3rd year in a row, and a new bird that was seen near Zwolle for just a single day. On April 22nd, another unringed and unblemished falcated duck was found in Limburg, near the Belgian border. It's the 2nd record for the province, and if accepted, will be the 15th for the Netherlands. At the time of recording, both this bird and a Rotterdam area bird, currently at the Nieuwe Waterweg, are still present. Next up, the lesser scaup, once a mega rare duck from North America. Nowadays, it seems that nearly every flock of tufted ducks contains one. Whether the bird found this week can be considered a new discovery is debatable. So many have been found this winter and spring that it's very likely this individual had already been spotted somewhere else. However, it is the first observation of this species at this particular lake near Lemmer, making it a notable sighting nonetheless. The available photos don't conclusively prove it's the same bird seen previously, so this individual might end up being logged as a separate case. There are now between 50 and 60 records of lesser scaup in the Netherlands. Another case where I suspect we're not dealing with a brand new discovery, though it's hard to be sure, involves a long-billed dowitcher found on April 22nd at a flooded field north of the Amstelmeer. The long-billed dowitcher is a shorebird that behaves much like a common snipe, but looks noticeably different. There have been 61 records of this American waders in the Netherlands to date. Just 3 weeks earlier, a winter plumage bird was seen a little north of this site. The April 22nd bird was already transitioning to summer plumage, but it's certainly possible for a long-billed dowitcher to molt from winter to partial summer plumage within 3 weeks. I've said it before, but with this species, I often get the feeling that we are repeatedly spotting the same bird in different places. Once again, I suspect this might be even the same individual I filmed last October on the mudflats near Texel. So, if you're birding in the northern part of North Holland soon, checking the local wader hotspots might very well pay off. On April 21st, an exciting eagle flew over Leusden. Because it passed directly over a birder's house, it was noticed and photographed. The next day, presumably the same bird was spotted again on the Veluwe, where some good photos were taken. The bird is currently reported as an Eastern Imperial Eagle, but the original observer pointed out that Spanish Imperial Eagle is also a possibility. Both species are extremely rare in the Netherlands, with only 4 accepted records of Eastern Imperial Eagle and just 1 of Spanish Imperial Eagle, while the Veluwe photos show a fairly unstreaked bird, which would fit Spanish Imperial. The silhouette, with long wings, leans more towards Eastern Imperial Eagle in my opinion. This period, no fewer than 3 new Iberian chiffchaffs were discovered. Together with the well-known bird in the North Holland Dune Reserve, that brings the total to 4 individuals this season, pushing the all-time Dutch total to 80 records, with 70 of those since 2001. That's an average of almost 3 birds per year over the last 24 years. At this rate, the species might soon be removed from the rarity review list. A significant proportion of the Iberian chiffchaffs found in the Netherlands have been true long stayers, sometimes sticking around for as long as 2 months. This makes finding singing males relatively achievable. Females, of course, are a different story, as they don't sing. However, Iberian chiffchaffs do have a distinct call compared to our common chiffchaff, and when it comes to identification, the call is even more important than the song. I've heard that calls are genetically hardwired, whereas songs are learned behavior. Although I'm not entirely sure if that's 100% true, it would explain why some individuals occasionally show odd songs. The first bird found this period was singing at Bouwopet. The other 2 were both discovered on Schiermonnikoog, just a day after I went there chasing a European Saren. These were the first and second records for the island. The first was a single male west of the village, and the second a calling female near the military cemetery, the same spot where the myrtle warbler was seen back in October 2019. Moving on to a bunch of very rare Sylvia warblers, the family that also includes a common whitethroat, we start with the Sardinian warbler. In the Mediterranean, this species is so common that it can become quite a nuisance when you're searching for other, rarer birds. But despite its abundance down south, in the Netherlands it remains a true mega rarity, with only 11 previous records. The last one was back in autumn 2018. This year's bird was found during a breeding bird survey in the dunes near Katwijk. Shortly after discovery, the bird disappeared from view, but a few quick arriving birders managed to hear it sing and saw it in flight before it vanished for good. A fun fact, in 1993, 1995 and 2018 there were records both in spring and autumn. If that trend continues, maybe we'll get another one this autumn. Hopefully one that sticks around a little longer. The next species is the western subalpine warbler. This bird was found around 2 p.m. in some scrub growing within reed beds near Bunschoten. The finder returned later in the day and relocated the bird around 5:30 p.m, after which she reported it online. Sadly, for many birders, it was already too late to chase it. A handful of twitchers did manage to connect with the bird just before dark. The next day it was gone. This was the 12th accept record for western subalpine warbler for the Netherlands, although there are a few additional sightings of undetermined subalpine warblers. The eastern counterpart, the eastern subalpine warbler, also didn't miss out. This period, 2 individuals were discovered. If accepted, these will be the 43rd and 44th national records. So, the species appears about 3 to 4 times more often than the western subalpine warbler. The first was found on the Maasvlakte, in pretty much the only patch of trees left near the fire station. The second was discovered in the same area where the final new rarity of this period was also found. And that last new bird was a Caspian stonechat, a subspecies of the Siberian stonechat, identifiable by the distinctive white pattern in the tail. This was only the 3rd record of Caspian stonechat for the Netherlands and the 2nd ever found during spring. The bird was discovered in the port of Heimuiden on the 26th. Interestingly, it was sharing a bush with one of the eastern subalpine warblers, proof that many rarities probably go undetected if you're not looking carefully enough. There's still so much left to discover, so get outside as much as you can. Then a quick update on the longstayers. During this period, only the female ringneck duck in Zeeuws-Vlaanderen was still being seen. The bird in Herugewaard has sometimes lingered into late spring in previous years, so it might still be around. Recently, it's been wandering the canals with its tufted duck companions, so it wouldn't surprise me if it pops up again soon. The spectacled eider is keeping us in suspense more and more these days, disappearing for longer stretches of time. Still, so far, he keeps popping back up. He's likely sticking with a flock of common eiders, and during this period he was first seen far offshore near Wagehild. Later he moved closer, resting in a channel north of the Schorren, much nearer to the coast than in previous weeks. On April 26th, he finally shook things up. For the first time during his long stay, the bird was seen on land. He was seen inland at Utopia, preening and sleeping with his eider friends. Around 11 a.m, the group flew back out to the Waddenzee. Just 2 weeks to go until the Tesselbig Day. Will it stick around until then? Another bird that's got the Flevoland big team holding their breath is the pygmy cormorant at Lelystad. Hopefully it will stay around for another week or 2, and fingers crossed it doesn't cost too much time to tick it off on the big day. Now, a few very rare species that are no longer reviewed by the Dutch Rarities Committee, since they show up more than twice a year on average. First up, the green-winged teal. Birds were spotted in 6 different locations this period. One individual at Lauwersmeer may have been the same bird seen earlier at Ezenbekeeg at Bochtjesplaat. This time it was found at Jaap Deenschat and later slightly further north at Vlinderbalg, only to return to Jaap Deenschat later that day. The Terschelling bird was still present, as were birds near Almere, Limburg and in the Biesbos. A new find was a bird at the Kastelrechtse Heide. Stonekeurloos also put in a good showing, with 3 twitchable day trippers and a few flyovers. The first twitchable bird was found on the Maasvlakte. Later that same day, another popped up near Strijen, a place where they'd been found before. A few days later, a third was found in North Brabant. Flyovers were reported in Zeeland, Utrecht, North Holland and Overijssel. This week also brought 2 American golden plovers, though unfortunately neither one was twitchable. The first was found near Ouwerkerk in Zeeland, but it quickly flew off and despite searches could not be relocated. It was one of the earliest American golden plovers ever recorded in the Netherlands, as they're usually only found from mid-May onwards. A few days later, another was discovered in a restricted area of the Slikkervallvlakke. The observers managed to get fantastic photos before this bird, too, disappeared. Also still being seen was the black guillemot swimming far offshore near Ouddorp. One observer even managed to film it. And the bird is now almost fully into summer plumage. After the big influx of black-winged kites in previous weeks, this period only brought one, but it was twitchable. It was found in the evening of the 18th in the Haaksbergenveen area, and it was still present the next morning until around 9:30 am. Griffon vultures this period were limited to North Brabant, with a flyover on the 14th and another bird circling above Maashorst on the 18th. After about half an hour, the vulture drifted southwards again. On April 26th, the second woodshed strike of the year was discovered, and the second one for Zeeland too this year. The finder had paused to check out a lesser whitethroat when suddenly a bird popped up onto a fence post. With a strike-shaped silhouette and a striking red head, ID was quick and easy. Birds that are instantly recognizable like that are sometimes jokingly called dame blanches among birders, a rather unfair nickname for such a fantastic find of a beautiful bird. The Hume-sleeve warbler in Culemborg also stuck around during this period, last being reported on the 19th. Now it's a long wait again, probably until late November, before we can hope to see this energetic little bird back in the Netherlands. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll get notified when new videos come online. If you are Dutch, then also check out my Dutch channel, linked in the description.